Hey there, creepy peeps. Welcome to my channel if you are new here, and welcome back if you're returning, and welcome to the end of 90s week on 31 days of Horrorween. If you don't know, I'm posting a video every single day of this month, so it's a great time to subscribe. Before we get into this clearly cooking video though, I want to say thank you to my creepy patron peeps for supporting my channel. Thank you guys so much. If you want to find out the perks to being a creepy patron peep, you can follow that link in the description. I'm back in the kitchen. You guys love the cooking videos. As it's 90s week, I feel like the most obvious thing we have to do is the custard from Dead Alive, right? That's like one of the most iconic food moments in horror history. So I'm gonna be combining two recipes here. I'm gonna steal the strawberry sauce, sort of blood stuff from Homicidal Homemaker, which I'll link in the description. She has a whole recipe for the custard and a fake ear and everything. So it'll be linked in the description. I'm just not a huge fan of white chocolate, and it's hard to get vegan white chocolate. So I'm gonna skip her custard recipe, and I'm gonna take a custard recipe from Sarah Kidd, who will also be linked in the description. So I'm gonna combine the two of these here.
All right, so I started off by doing the strawberry sauce because it takes a little bit for the strawberries to soften up to strain. So the recipe called for about 2 cups of strawberries, which was maybe about half a container on medium heat, and then a tablespoon of lemon juice. I needed the lemon juice for the custard, which is why I have some pre-squeezed into that cup there. Just a little mise en place. You also need about a 1/3 cup of sugar, of course, to make it sweet and delicious. You also need to add at some point a tablespoon of cornstarch to thicken the sauce, and I guess I forgot to film me adding that. You add it a little bit later once the sauce is starting to heat up a little bit, so which is probably why you didn't see it here. So I let that sit and heat up and the strawberries get soft. So while that was happening, I figured I could prepare some of my custard, starting with 2 cups of the recipe called for soy milk, but I happen to have cashew milk on hand, and it's about the same thickness and creaminess and consistency of soy milk, and I actually had exactly 2 cups in that container, which almost never happens. Any of my bakers out there probably know that. You also need about a tablespoon of vanilla in there. I could say I needed 2 bottles. I finished off that larger one. And then a pinch of salt, which I just, eyeballed. And you also need, the recipe called for 4 tablespoons of sugar, but the equivalent of that is a 1/4 cup. It's the only math I'm good at. I just gave that a quick stir, and by the time I was done with that, the strawberries were soft enough to mash, which I just, took a fork to them. And then came the fun part of straining the sauce, which you have to do to get the pulp out. And this takes a very long time, even for the small amount of sauce. So we're just gonna go ahead and skip to the end after I've strained this.
2 hours later.
Okay, so with the strawberry sauce done and strained, it's time to start the custard. So I'm putting that milk mixture I made on medium heat, and then off to the right there, I am mixing together a 1/4 cup of cornstarch and a 1/4 cup of cold water. Make sure you add your cornstarch to cold water if you're gonna add it to something hot to heat it up. Otherwise it'll get all lumpy and disgusting. And then there's that lemon juice again. I needed about 2 tablespoons for the custard, so I'm just adding that. And then comes time to whisk it like hell. Seriously, you have to whisk it until it gets thick, so we're skipping ahead again. You have to make it a little bit yellow, I guess, for the recipe for Dead Alive, I guess. You could use turmeric if you wanted to use a natural food colorant. I just happen to have yellow food dye on hand, so I just went ahead and used some of that.
So for Instagram purposes, I know it's pointed, but I'll cover it or whatever for my Instagram priorities, right? Just to put in the custard as display. Homicidal Homemaker, again, linked in the description, has a whole thing where you can make a chocolate ear to go in it. It's a lot of work that only a professional is gonna do. Again, also it was white chocolate, and it's very hard to get vegan white chocolate, so especially in 2020 right now. So it just fake ear for picture purposes. I'm gonna wash it though for sure.
So this was the finished product. The cashew milk was not quite white, so the yellow food dye made it just like a little kind of like darker, so it didn't quite look like the movie, but you know, it worked for the purposes. The strawberry sauce is what really made it though. I don't usually like pudding, it's a consistency thing, but it was tasty and that strawberry sauce was awesome.
You know, custard with pure blood doesn't taste so bad.
Overall, I feel like this was a pretty easy recipe to make. The sauce straining and the custard stirring are a little bit time consuming, but you know, it's worth it for our purposes, and it was definitely a challenge to watch that custard scene while eating the custard, which I did do later on. So that's it for this quick cooking video today. I'll see you tomorrow with another new video and a whole new themed week of 31 days of Horrorween. Until then, stay strange. Bye!